Froogle videos are powered by Jetline Systems.
Hello YouTube, this is Froogle, and we're back in DCS World for the first, almost, I would dare say, fully loaded mission. Now, fully loaded for me in the past, typically with FSX and prepared. I have multiple computers running absolutely everything, but the key is with those fully loaded is that I explain everything that I'm doing. So that's what we're going to do here. This is a sponsored series of videos by Thrustmaster, who were very kind and sent me the F16 Viper stick. See my other video for a review of that and the F18 stick. It's awesome. And we are, of course, flying the DCS F16 Viper in this mission. Now, the mission, let's go over to the screen here, is called Dawn Raiders. And the idea is, without going and reading every single piece of text here, that communication intercepts reveal clear evidence of an Iranian first strike in the late planning stages. Airstrikes against ballistic missile launch sites and their supporting infrastructure are laid on for the next 3 days, and these kick off today with our mission at dawn, with attacks on the newly built Shahab 3 launch sites within the Iranian interior and their support facilities at Lar Air Base. So, a strike package consisting of 4 Kuwaiti F-18s, 2 Emirati F-16s, 4 Saudi F-15s, and 4 Saudi Tornadoes will carry out this mission. Obviously, we are the Emirati F-16s. A Saudi E-3 will provide airborne early warning and command and control. 2 KC-135 tankers are going to be available for drone refueling, which is going to be useful for us. We are going to need that. We are expecting some enemy air defenses. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, before we even get into it, this is going to be split into 3 parts. So in this first part, what we're going to do is go through this mission briefing, and I'll show you how to review a mission briefing in DCS World, and then we'll go through the aircraft startup from cold all the way out to taxi. Part 2, obviously take off and away we go, and part 3, return. So looking at this here, we are seeing a lot of enemy air defenses. There are SA-10s. There's a couple of SA-2s in there, SA-11s, SA-15s, so basically a ton of air defenses. Execution. All flights will get airborne and hold at the Marshall Point, which is waypoint 1. And then we push from that Marshall Point at our assigned time on target. Now, in our case, we are... Where are we? We are strike package. Here we go, strike package. That's us. Colt 1 and Colt 2. So our targets are actually a steer point 3 and a steer point 4. We're going to push from waypoint 1. I think it's at 2 a.m. Let me see here. Colt 1. Where are we? That's phase 1. Here we go. Yeah. So up here, phase 1, push and set up at 0200 Zulu time. Uzi 1 and Colt push and proceed along their flights, their routes to the north. So we're going to hold at waypoint 1 until 2 a.m. Then we're going to push. At 2, phase 2, that's not us, but the other flights, the F-15s and the Tornadoes, are going to go in and suppress air defenses. Phase 3, that is us, strike. We have a strike on targets at steer point 3 and steer point 4. And you can see here that our target of interest is steer point 3 launchers that are out in the open. So those are the Shahab missile launchers that we saw in the briefing. And at steer point 4, the roof of the building. And then we have egress and come back home and everything else. Now, it is important to review everything here. So if we look at page 2 here, we have increased activity at Iranian ballistic missile sites, hence our mission up here. If we go on to page 3. Okay, here's the air defenses. There's Lar Air Base. We're going to be pretty much threading a needle through here, hit, and then coming out, and again threading a needle on the way back out. We have F-5 fighters at Bandar Abbas as well, which is going to be potentially a problem, as well as MiG-29s and F-14s to the north. There's a lot of stuff going on in this mission. That we do need to be very, very careful of. Page 4. And again, here's our route I just described to you. So if I zoom in as much as I can, you can see that we are very much, I can't move that. We are very much threading a needle. We're going to take off and hold at waypoint 1 until our push time here, and then go up here. Here's our 2 tankers, which we are going to need. Not so much the shell tanker down here, but the Arco tanker we are going to need up here. And if we scroll down the mission briefing, you'll see that there are, or further up in the mission briefing actually, you will see that there are the frequencies and TACAN channels for those tankers somewhere in here. I have actually made a note of them. I can't find them now, actually. But I have actually made a note of them. I know what they are. We're probably going to be using the Arco tanker. After we egress out of this area, doing missile avoidance, we're going to need some fuel. Oh, here we go. Here they are here. So our tankers and our call signs and everything are all here. It is all noted. Now, it's a good idea when you're doing these missions, actually, to go into the mission planner, and I will show you for why. Okay, so with the mission planner up, this mission's pretty good in that it's not totally scripted. There are some semi-random events that happen and triggers that trigger these semi-random events. So by looking at the mission planner, you're not actually revealing too much, but here are our 2 targets, 3 and 4. If we zoom in down here, what you can do in the mission planner, which is very, very useful and really not that different to what you would do in the real world, to be completely honest. If we go to a satellite view, zoom, 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 zoom. Now, we were told launchers in the open, and there they are. So what we're going to see here is probably about 3 or 4 trucks, hopefully at that angle as we approach them. Those are the launchers. Those are our targets. So we're looking for that stuff as we come in. So consider that like a satellite mission, satellite photograph in a mission briefing. And if we go up to steer point 4, which is all the way up here, we were told roof of the building, right? Now, steer point 4 is La Air Base, so expect defenses here, and you can see steer point 4 is, okay, there's a couple of buildings next to the apron here, in front of the runway here. We want the building on the right, and we want to stick ordnance through the roof of that building. So that's what we're looking for. So good. We got a good idea of what we're actually looking for now. We're going to do this at high altitude, so we're going to be flying about 25,000 feet all the way in. Because of the number of air defenses, we're going to keep it pretty high. It gives us better visibility of what's going on. We could go low, but if you look at this terrain here, I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. I don't want to come across any surprises down there. I'd rather keep it nice and high. It gives us a lot of energy to play with if we need to avoid anything or get involved with anything. I'd rather not have stuff shooting down on me, and better radar visibility of all the other threats as well. So with that said and done, let's get out of the mission planner, and we'll jump into the cockpit and proceed through cold and dark start. All right. Here we are in the cockpit, cold and dark. Gonna have to start this up, and we are a little bit under the gun because we have to do that push at 2 o'clock requirement for the mission. So we're gonna put main power on battery, check that these lights come on. We'll do a flickers test real quick, which is down here. When are you gonna work? There we go. Make sure those 4 lights come on. Those lights there change appropriately, and we're good. So with all that done, we can switch to main power. So at this point, we want to make sure that these lights are on. The engine warning light, hydraulic oil, pressure lights, the electrical system lights, which is down there, the secondary system lights, and the FLCS relay light, which is down there. So yeah, we're all good. So at this point, hello. At this point, we'll switch the JFS switch to position 2, run the starter. We wait for the run light to come on. There he goes. Here is spool up. There's the run light, so at 20% RPM, which is right about now, right shift home. Bring the engine online. At this point, the secondary light should go out, which it has. We're now waiting for the engine warning light to go out. Which means the standby generators become operational. That will distinguish the engine warning light. Right about 60%. There's that 60%. There goes the light. Good. Make sure the JFS starter switch is returned to the off position, which it currently is, and it just got incredibly loud. So we'll close the canopy right now, even though we don't need to according to the checklist. And with that closed, boink, we still have a canopy warning light. So we'll lock it. That gets rid of that warning light. Okay, so where do we go now from here? Probe heat. We'll switch it on to heat. Make sure we have no warnings or errors, which we don't. And then we'll switch it on to test, or hold it on to test. Should see the flashing probe heat light. That's all good. Now we do the fire and overheat detection system, which is this one. Click, hold. You're going to get a master caution up here. Engine warning light over here. Overheat light down here, and we're all good, so we'll release that. Now we'll do the indicators, message alerts and indicators over here. Click and hold and listen.
Pull up. Altitude. Warning. Jammer. Counter. Fat flare. Low. Out. Block. Caution. Bingo. Data. ISS.
Alright, so we're all good on that stuff, which is fabulous. So now we go down to the avionics switches. We'll clear the master caution. Avionics are down here. Now it is all of these switches, you don't need the map one, but we will turn that on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do not forget to turn on the mids system, or you will have no data link to the rest of your flight. With all that done, we'll set the INS to a normal alignment. We'll come up here now. When you do an INS normal alignment, you need to go through and confirm latitude, longitude, altitude, and everything else. So enter, down, enter, down, enter, down. That puts us back on the top just for good measure. Enter. If you delay doing that, it resets the INS alignment. Don't delay doing that. So with all that done now, sensor panel, which I'm having a real hard time seeing. Let me reset track IR here. There we go. Which is here. We don't need the left hard point. We do need the right hard point. FCR, radar altimeter. And over here we can turn on our HUD displays as appropriate. Over on the left hand side, CLI knob should show UFC, which it currently does. We will turn on the IFS switch while we're here. Initially to standby. We'll put that up to normal later on. With all that done, we'll go down to the ECS system. ECM, so we'll turn on ECM power. Radar warner on, missile launch on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put this as a standby. We'll put that into manual when we approach the runway. We are stores configuration Cat 3. Everything's looking really quite lovely. Let's check the speed brake. So we'll pull the speed brake switch. There's the button. And back in. There it goes again. Now what I haven't done is contact the tower. I actually forgot all to do that. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to let the INS warm up and get ready to go. We'll bring up the HUD. What we're waiting for is INS alignment will show a line flashing. We'll wait until that's done, then I'll tune COM 1 and we'll talk to ATC and actually request startup, which we're a little bit late on. But with all that done, we could actually go ahead over here and look at everything else. So let me just zoom. In fact, we want to do it over here or over here. Let's do it down here. SMS. And lock track IR. There we go. So let's get SMS. Alright, so we are carrying GB12s, which is good. We've got a couple of 9s and a couple of 120s for air-to-air defenses. Let's go back over here. Come off this. Go to the HSD. Okay, there's our waypoints. They're all set in. Targeting pod is there. It should already be in standby. Okay, that's fine. I don't think we have FLIR. We don't have TFR. Weapon placeholder. That's not finished yet. This is still early access on that. Okay, this is still early access on the F-16, so some things are not quite done. What I did forget to do, by the way, let me unlock track IR, and we'll zoom back out, is I forgot to uncage the standby attitude indicator here. There we go. We'll reset that. Good. What else do we need to do? Wheels down, lights should have 3 green. Engine SEC mode. We can switch that on. I don't like doing the SEC test, but we will. So we're currently at 60%. We'll flop the guard up here. We'll switch this into secondary. Notice it drops. Toe brakes on. Snap the throttle wide open. Bring it back. And we're all good. And close the secondary display. Good. With all that done, we can do the FLCS bit test. So the way we do that, look behind us. Move the joysticks through all axes. That's all good. Everything's there. So now, having put some oil in the system, flick the bit test up. Let it do its thing. We'll come back to that in a minute. While it's doing that, we'll look at the fuel gauges. Looking over here, if I switch this onto test and hold, you will see 6,000 pounds total. Both needles aligned. Down here, fuel forward low, fuel aft low.
1 on station at bullseye 194 for 170 at 25,000.
Can't do a DBU test, which is the digital backup. Can't do that just yet. We need to wait for the flickers test to finish, which is currently still in run. So we won't mess with that, but we can do a trim test. So if we go over here and look at trim, oh, actually we won't. We're not going to mess with anything to do with control surfaces until the flickers test is complete. What else can we check over here? I think we're all good. This is all good. Master arm is off. Countermeasures are all ready to go. We haven't turned on the taxi lights yet. We're not going to worry about that. And we did say when we get out to the runway, we'll turn on the IFF to normal. Did I miss? I said something else was going to be delayed, didn't I? What was it that I was going to delay and turn on later? Any ideas? Oh, we'll do the lights. We can do the lights now. Put the lights on. Doink, doink, doink. We'll turn these up. Turn these up, normal, great, great, great. That's all good. Okay, flickers bit test is finished. So all we're going to do, digital backup, switch that up. Look behind us at the shadow. Move the controls again, should be no change. Digital backup control system is working. Now we can look at the trim system. So if I do AP disconnect, trim AP disconnect, and move the trim hat, absolutely nothing happens. If I switch the trim system back to normal, up, down, left, right, yeah, you're starting to see needles move now. So that is all golden and good. Very happy with that. So trim system is working, we're all good. EBU test I'm not really going to bother with right now, but we are actually at this point ready to go. We're just waiting for alignment. Let's check my exterior lights are all good. So formation lights are bright. We are on anti-collisions are on. We are flashing. Should be able to see them. Good. Oh yeah, well, taxi lights. We'll do that when we start to taxi, obviously. I think we're all good. Don't mess with anything now until the alignment completes. Except center track IR. So the F-16 is actually very, very quick to power up, which is great because it is a fast intercept fighter. It is designed to scramble in a hurry. So the startup procedure is pretty quick, which is good. And that's good for us because we do have that 2 o'clock push from steer point 1. And I'm not sure where we're currently at on time. I can find out. I don't really want to. I'm going to leave things alone until my alignment is completely done, which should be any second, actually. You can see it counting up over here on the DED display. There. We're just waiting. Waiting. And then we'll call ATC, like I said.
On station at bullseye 194 for 170 at 29,000.
You know what? I could. I think if I change Con 1, it's not going to change the HUD here. Yeah, so I'm still going to know when we're set. So 251 is ATC today. Enter. We'll go up. And ATC, Aldafra, request startup.
Code 1, request startup. Code 1-1, cleared for startup. Wind 103 at 2 meters per second.
All right, so we're cleared for startup, which we already did, but you know, who cares? Should be getting very close about now. Wouldn't do it. Getting pinged. F-15's up ahead. The E3 AWACS Sentry above us. Coming up on the radar warning display. There we go, we're aligned. So, we will switch this over to nav. Hit return on this. And we know we're aligned because Sherm the sperm, which indicates where we need to steer, is off to the right, which is absolutely correct. And again, I've messed up my displays here and I have no idea why. Let's get this back into HSD, please. There we go. So we're good to go. So at this point, I will go ahead and request taxi to runway.
Colt 1-1, request taxi to runway.
And we have 22 minutes to get to steer point 1, which should be just fine.
Colt 1-1, clear to taxi to runway 13, pass 1.
All right, clear to taxi to runway 13 left. So let's go through the checklist. Can I be closed and locked? Yes, we don't have any warning lights. Altimeter is currently 299 at 2. It's going to change. They're going to give us a different reading when we approach the runway. Exterior lights are on except taxi, which will turn on now. We will turn on the IFF now so we don't forget to normal. Nose wheel steering is on the joystick, top right. We'll click that on. You'll see a AR nose wheel steering light come up on the display beside the HUD there, so that's all good. Well, now we will do a brakes and nose wheel steering check. There's the nose wheel steering, and there's the brakes. They're all good. What's next on the checklist? Heading and flight instruments check. Now we don't need to worry about anything until we get ready for takeoff, so we'll just taxi on out to runway 13 left. And we're in good position, good shape right now, actually. Still didn't arm the ejection seat. We have a warning down there about that, which is fine. That's not on the checklist until we get towards the runway. There is Colt 2. We are Colt 1. Strike. And here's Colt 2 in that hangar there waiting patiently for me. He will say rolling, and there's another flight taking off in front of us. You can just see them there.
Rolling.
And we have a flight of F-15s about to pass over Al Dabra Air Base where we're taxiing now. You can see them up there to the right. Lots of aircraft involved in this mission, and timing is critical because a lot of these aircraft are going to get there before us and hopefully neutralize their defenses, and we can just run in and do what we need to do. First with those launchers, and then putting ordnance through the building's roof on that second waypoint. Now, air traffic control in DCS World is not ideal. It's not perfect. Ideally, there is a hold point up here, and I would hold at the hold point, contact ATC and say request permission to take off. It doesn't actually work like that in DCS World. I actually need to hit the runway, which is the not ideal bit. You'll see that in a second, so forgive me if I do things a little bit out of the ordinary there. And I'll run through the final before takeoff checks once we do get lined up. We should have Colt 2 now following behind us. Yep. He's back there. That's the other thing to bear in mind, by the way. Once we do go up in the air, we don't want to be nailing the throttle too much. We don't want to run him out of fuel trying to keep up, and we do want him to keep up. We're still a little bit behind, but that's okay. All right, 13 left is coming up, dead ahead. Nice Huey over there in the distance, hovering. I don't know what he's actually doing. Can we see him? See him? Unusual. Hueys are not really active right now in many air forces. Maybe Coast Guard or rescue or something. And here's 13 left. So as I said, I can't really call ATC and ask permission while holding. The hold point is basically at the sign. I'm going to bring the menu up, and I will take the runway. Make sure we're clear to do so. And we'll run through our checks. So just backing off the throttle a little bit, so we'll coast here. Probe heat switch goes on. That will be down here. Probe heat on. Alternate flaps switch should be normal. It is. Trim, check that it's engaged, that we're not disconnected. We are good. Engine con switch. We want to verify primary guard down, which it is. So moving on to the next page of checks now. Canopy.
1-1. Unable to clear for takeoff.
All right, we got clear for takeoff.
Colt 1-1. You are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.87.
All right, so IFF is all set up as far as I'm aware. Yep, we're all good. External tanks are good. Fuel quantity selection knob is on normal. Flight controls checked, cycled. Let's go ahead and lock the ejector seat or arm the ejector seat at this point. Oil pressure is looking good. All warning and caution lights now should be completely out. TGP is stowed. Ejection safety lever is locked. Let's go. We're going to take off and head towards steer point 1. We're going to climb up to about 25,000 feet. Disconnect nose wheel steering at that point. Whoa, airspeed alive. And pull back on the stick. We have lift. Gear up. And we'll start turning towards steer point 1 straight away.